Willy. So, um, when was the moment that you decided that you wanted to do what you are currently doing right now?
Oh man, that's a good question. Hard to say. I took a very indirect route to get what I'm doing now. I in college I always wanted to do something related to business.
Hmm.
Didn't know exactly what that was. I graduated back in 2008 or 2009. And when I was going to school, the financial markets crashed, and finance jobs, marketing jobs, all the cool business jobs were non-existent. So I went into public accounting because it was safe.
Okay.
Um,
Did you need a
and
specific degree for that or certification?
yeah. So to do that, you needed an accounting degree, and then from there, you needed 150 credit hours
Okay.
to get a CPA license.
Okay.
So went and got that, and then practiced for a few years. Then got my CPA license, which is a good profession to be in. I mean, you can make a lot of money, but it's a lot of long hours.
Yeah, for sure.
Mm.
What'd you end up doing after that?
Uh, so I left. I got burnt out on that. Being an accountant is a lot of hours, a lot of 80-hour weeks, a lot of
Yeah.
long nights,
Yeah.
and personal sacrifices, both from a family perspective and personally. And then I went to a financial technology company startup,
Okay.
and got into business development, which was interesting. And
Hmm.
then yeah, kind of did that for a little while.
And then that was your last job before the one that you're currently doing?
Yeah. So I worked at a fintech company, and we were basically making an app
Okay.
to compete with TurboTax.
Okay.
So I was leveraging my accounting experience and doing taxes to help them. And the way I was doing that was I would go around the country and give speeches at MBA programs, and I would go around and do little seminars on how to save money on taxes and things like that. And then writing articles and blogs online and things like that,
Oh, cool.
doing like SEO, search engine optimization stuff,
Okay.
also working on Facebook ads, Instagram ads, that kind of stuff. And yeah, did that for a year and a half. That was kind of interesting.
So was that like a startup or like for say in California? Is that where you were? I
Mhm.
feel like there's a lot
Yeah,
of
yeah,
startups out in Cali.
yeah, there are. Yeah, so San Francisco is a hotbed of startup activity, Silicon Valley. So we were a California startup, and yeah, it was interesting. The founders had raised a bunch of money from venture capital firms, and yeah, we were. It was the prototypical startup. We had LaCroix in the fridge and catered lunches, uh, and so it was your typical startup environment.
Yeah.
Not a lot of management though, so it was kind
Yeah.
of tough. You don't get told what to do. You got to figure it out for yourself, which is tough.
Yeah. Tough, but also good skills to be learned also at the same time for sure.
Hmm.
Um, so what are you doing now?
Yeah. So now I work at a company called PitchBook Data,
Okay.
and we are a financial technology company, research organization. Uh, and what we do is we provide insights into evolving capital markets. So we report on track venture capital deals, private equity deals. So, public companies, they have to disclose their financial performance to the public investors. Private companies don't have to do that. So we focus on tracking those deals, and then we put them into a database. And so then people use that database to execute on investments. So
Oh,
I basically work with people in that space to get access to our data and use it in their business.
okay. So I guess my next question is like who would who's your target, I guess, audience, or who are the kind of people that are using your the data that you guys provide?
Yeah, great question, Josh. A lot, and it runs very varied. There's a lot of different people using us. There's venture capital firms are using us to raise money from institutional investors like insurance companies.
Okay.
Um, Asset managers are using us to invest in funds.
Okay.
Uh, Private equity funds are using us to invest in companies and buy companies. Consultants are using us to understand new technologies or industries. And then entrepreneurs, founders are using us to raise capital.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So I might backtrack a little bit here.
Mm-hmm.
You mentioned you got it was an accounting degree, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So just a little bit about that. It was that what was your favorite part of that degree? Are you a big math guy, or do you like tests?
Yeah. No, I mean, I would say, and not necessarily. What was interesting about accounting was that number one, it's the language of business. So everything is recorded in debits and credits in business. So it's like English but for business. So you
Okay.
understand how things are recorded, um, understand transactions and things like that. So you gain that's useful. I didn't really like the math. Honestly, the math part was not as interesting, and I kind of pursued it because it was a stable career and it's a it was a safe thing to study because the world will always need accountants. So
Yeah.
it's very safe career to go after. So there'll always be a job for you in accounting.
Mm.
That's kind of what drove me to it. But then also, as I got further along, I liked the tax side of accounting. So within accounting, there's the audit. There's really the audit side where you're auditing or entering transactions into like the database.
Okay.
And the other side, there's the tax side where you're reporting under the tax law how much money the company makes, things like that.
Just learn a lot of like the
And
back end of business and
yeah, for sure. Accounting is definitely the back end of business. Not very client facing,
yeah.
but I really liked in tax learning like case law and like there's a lot of storytelling like about like interesting cases, like
Yeah.
tax law, like things like people trying to cheat the system and or like trying to play with there's rules, right? And so people would try to structure the transaction to get around rules, and so it's interesting to read that and like just a lot of interesting stories around that.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's pretty interesting. So for the most part, you liked majority of your classes, but the math wasn't obviously your favorite. Um, so what was the degree like mostly? I mean, were your was it kind of like the standard semester where you have 2, 3 exams, a couple papers, a group project maybe, or was it very heavy testing or very heavy group discussions or group projects or presentations or things like that?
Yeah, good question, Josh. I would say a lot of testing. Definitely a lot of tests, weekly, if not daily quizzes, and a lot of studying outside of class for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of time commitment that goes into it, and
Yeah, for sure.
uh, a lot of testing for sure. But then there's sometimes you get to do a group projects, but like not as much as other areas of study, I feel like.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that makes sense because you're probably mostly by yourself on the job. So
Mhm.
teach your independence, I guess, in school with your work. Did you need a specific calculator for by any chance?
Yeah, we had God, what was it? We're going way back down memory
Yeah.
lane here.
We're on like
Uh,
over a decade.
yeah, yeah. I'm trying to think back. I think we had a TI 84
Okay, yeah.
calculator, but then within business school, some teachers wouldn't let you use that because you could
Oh,
cheat by entering like formulas into it and stuff.
yeah,
But
yeah,
like the finance classes, you would need that and stuff. But I think it was a TI-84, and then sometimes it was just like a little basic. Like some classes would only allow you to have like just a little basic 9-key calculator or whatever, you know.
yeah.
Then
Those
you go.
things aren't too pricey, right? Probably like $100 or something,
Yeah. If I remember correctly, I can't. They're
something
not.
around that. Yeah,
Yeah, they were pretty cheap. I mean, well, I guess $100 isn't cheap necessarily, but
yeah, yeah. But
relatively speaking, it's not like the price of a computer. But yeah, some of
yeah,
them, yeah, they did. I think it was a TI-84, maybe a TI-89. God, I don't even know what. I don't even know what they're using today.
yeah,
But
right.
um,
Did you use Excel a lot and other apps like that in the major?
mhm.
You did.
Oh yeah, lots of Excel. I mean, to get an accounting degree, you had to have a few computer science classes
Okay.
as part of the curriculum.
Yeah.
And rightfully so, because once you graduate, you're going to be doing a lot of Excel. You're going to be living in Excel.
Yeah.
Uh, that's
Interesting.
just kind of that's just kind of what happens. There's a lot of computer skills needed to be in accounting today, and I expect that to continue as a trend,
Yeah.
just because there's so much technology being developed right now, and
Yeah, at a fast
account
rate too.
yeah, that's great. So there's definitely going to be the need to know more about computer systems and computer software. Um, I think when I was in college, we had, I want to say, maybe 2 or 3 computer science classes that were a semester long each as part of
Yep.
the undergraduate curriculum. And then I actually got my master's in accounting too, and I took a database class as well.
Oh, okay. Did you do the
Yeah.
masters online or in person?
In person. So I
Oh,
did,
cool. At the same
yeah,
place or different college?
both at the University of Kansas.
Okay, cool.
They had a 5-year program. So typically, if you go into accounting,
Uh,
yeah, if you go into accounting, a lot of people will just stay on because
yeah.
there's 40. I think it takes about 120 credit hours to graduate from a
Yeah.
4-year college. Um, and so a lot of people will just stay on to get that 150 I was talking about, so they can get their CPA license.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, and the CPA license is like a 4-part test. That's almost like going to college again to pass
Yeah.
it. But when you get that, then you're set. You'll be making a 6-figure salary for the rest of your life,
Yeah.
which is good. But it's really hard. It's a lot of work.
Yeah, for sure. I've heard some friends that have gone through that process too. It's super hard and a lot of work.
Yeah,
Um,
it's really tedious for
yeah,
sure.
yeah. That being said, you definitely can't get away with a Chromebook. You need a Windows or something like that where you can download software. Probably.
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, you would probably need the computer. I mean, I have a Chromebook for fun, like as my personal travel laptop,
Yeah.
and but you can use Google Sheets,
Right.
which is kind of like Excel, but
Yeah.
I don't. I'm not sure the functionality is not as powerful as like a ThinkPad or even a Mac
Yeah.
Chromebook or whatever. But I don't know about that, to be honest. It definitely would be helpful to have that, be able to download the software for sure because it
Yeah.
runs fast.
Yeah.
But it depends. I mean, I feel like I don't know I feel like when I was back in college, teachers were like they had their own way of doing things, and it's like
Yeah.
you had to like adapt to that was.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. That's a huge game changer with some majors. You can get away with a Chromebook, and you're looking at 250, spending $250 as opposed to 700 to $1,000 or whatever. So
Mhm.
that's always something I'm curious about. How would you prepare for a semester? Were you super organized? Did you write things down on a calendar? Were you a big highlighter guy?
Mhm.
Um, where would you take notes typically? Things
Yeah,
like that.
I was really big on taking notes.
You
Both.
weren't big or you were?
No, I was
Oh,
very.
okay.
Um, it just depends. My memory style required me to have to write things down when
Yeah.
that's how I would learn things. So I would take notes during class. Additionally, I would take notes while I read
Okay.
and highlight as well. So
Okay.
definitely very studious on that side of things, just because
Yeah.
that's how I would learn. On the same side, though, I had friends that would just read and they would do okay. But for me,
Retain it. Yeah.
yeah, they would retain it. But for me, I needed to read everything and write it down.
Yeah. Yeah. I was the same way for sure. All right. So fast forward into the job. Could you take me through a normal day, like pre-COVID? Were you in the office? Were you out of the office? Was a little bit of both?
Yeah.
Traveling, whatever.
Mhm.
So yeah, just like your typical day in the life.
Yeah. I mean, today at PitchBook or going back to public accounting days?
Today at PitchBook.
Yeah. So typical day pre-COVID at PitchBook would be, wake up at 6 a.m., do some stretching, breathing exercises, get ready for the day, then ride the bus to the financial district, get into the office usually by like 7 o'clock.
Okay.
And then at 7 o'clock, I would log into my Salesforce, look at the tasks for the day, and just start hammering out emails and calls to prospects. It is a sales job, so you've got
Yeah.
you're cold calling, you're following up on emails, you're
Yeah.
sending out cold emails, just trying to get meetings. And so
What is, sorry to cut you off. What is Salesforce for the listeners who don't know?
yeah. So Salesforce is a CRM or customer relationship management
Okay.
database. Basically, what it does is it's a way to organize all of your conversations, interactions with a potential customer. So
Okay.
it helps you keep organized all of the people who would buy your product or service and be able to know where they all are. So it's cloud-based. To me, it's an internet application. And so it helps you keep everything focused and organized and know where your next steps are, who you need to follow, like where it is, when the last time you spoke to someone is at a company.
Okay.
Yeah, it just basically helps you measure every single interaction.
Helpful tool for salespeople.
Yep, exactly.
That the business buys, right? Obviously.
Yeah, the business buys it for you. Yeah, they give you a login.
Okay, cool. So yeah, so you start hammering away at calls and emails, follow-ups, etc. And then is that pretty much what you run through for the day, I'd say, right?
No, I mean that's what in my role in sales. There's two functions. There's an inside sales function or sales development representative, which is someone who is that's all they do all day is just try to schedule meetings. And then after that, there's an outside sales role, which is what I do, which is like a closing role where you actually close
Okay.
close the deals, get the contract signed, that kind of stuff. And so, as an outside sales representative or an account executive, what you're doing is you're doing that for the first 2 hours of the day, usually, hammering the phone, sending out emails. And then the other part of the day, you're actually taking calls with and you're trying to get them to buy your product or service or understand, what they're doing and then, try to close them.
So do you act as both?
Yeah. Yeah, I
Okay.
do.
So you
Yeah,
don't have like someone who's smiling and dialing all day for you, and then
we
you just
do.
follow up?
No, I do have someone like that. We have a whole team, but you can't just depend on them. You have to go out and get your own too. So
Right.
if you want to be really successful, you got to do both. You got to go. You get some leads from the inside sales team, but then you also have to go find your own opportunities.
Yeah. That's pretty nice.
Yeah, it's it's good to have that breakdown.
Yeah.
Just because it's a lot of work to have to do both, but it's yeah, anything you do to get a leg up is nice to have.
Yeah, for sure. Especially in sales, I feel like.
Yeah.
So is your business or I guess what I'm trying to get at is your industry kind of centralized where your business is, or your business you work for, your company? Is that like the, the mecca of, tech sales or
Yeah, I would say, well, I mean, San Francisco, where I work, is definitely the
the
San,
spot?
it's up there for tech sales. When you think about the where most of the tech companies are, San Francisco, New York, Los Angeles, Seattle, at least in the United States, those are the big hubs. And so I would say San Francisco definitely has them.
Oh no. Shoot.
Jobs there, but hard to say. Did you freeze there? Yep.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I did freeze for a sec. Oh, here we go. Can you see me now? Sorry,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
did
No
freeze for
worries.
a second. Sorry about that. I caught you. You're talking about major cities: L.A., New York, San Fran, and
Hmm.
Washington, I think, or
Yeah, Seattle. Yeah,
Seattle. Okay.
Seattle. Yeah.
Um, well, yeah. So I'll just keep hammering away. So is there any if I was a young cat or someone trying to switch careers, is there like a convention or a trade show that might kind of that might be like beneficial for me to attend, that might give me a better idea of what goes on, or might allow me to shake some hands of people that could get me involved?
Um, I mean, I would depend. Honestly, I don't know if there's a trade show, but if you want to get connected and find out, I would just get on LinkedIn.
LinkedIn.
Yeah, I would get on LinkedIn, and just if you don't have a profile, create one. LinkedIn's a professional networking site, but it's also a social media website.
Mm, for sure.
To get your profile created, have a nice professional headshot. Not if you're a guy, don't have like a shot at you at the beach with your shirt off. If you're a gal, don't be wearing a bikini,
Yeah,
basic shit. But sometimes it needs to be said.
it does. Yeah.
I would say, and then it's basically like creating a resume, but on a website. So you list out your experiences, what you've done, and then I would just start, searching, use the search bar and search for people in sales, type in things like account executive, tech companies, and just try to connect with people, and connect with managers, and like they'll be that people are always looking for top talent, and if you're
Mm,
proactive like that,
yeah.
then that gives you a leg up.
Yeah, for sure.
I think that's the best way to find out. I can't really I don't really know if there's any kind of like trade show or networking thing, but like LinkedIn is almost like that in a way.
Yeah, cyberway. It's a lot less effort for
Right.
sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
How has working from home been?
Oh man, it's tough. I mean, so I'm on Zoom, but it's funny to me to see Zoom blow up as it has because of COVID.
Yeah,
But
it really
I
has.
Zoom for years, and
Oh, okay.
it's hilarious to see all my friends who aren't in sales start to use Zoom, and they're like,
Yeah.
"Oh, you heard about Zoom?" I was like, "Yeah, dude, I've been using Zoom for like 2 years, bro." Uh, so,
You're an
but
OG Zoomer.
yeah, the OG Zoom fan. But
You're like, yeah, I've been on Zoom, guys. All right. Like,
yeah, you guys are late to the game here,
yeah.
bro. Early adopter here.
If you need my premium account, I guess I could lend you it.
Yeah. So the thing I would say is like the changes. Like I would go into the office though and have interactions with people. Like we have a really nice office in San Francisco. Great view of the Bay Bridge. I would get there early in the morning. The
Sick.
sun's coming up.
Yeah,
You
it's
just
nice.
go. You'd be able to chit chat with people. You know, in the talk to the security guards, talk to
Yeah.
like office people, then people in your office. And there was like 30 of us in the office, and so I would be talking to them, and then I would do my client calls all over Zoom. So, but now I just lost that interaction with other people. I've always talked to my clients on Zoom though, and so
Oh,
that
okay.
hasn't that part's not new.
Okay.
But yeah, but it's been hard because I also would do a lot of trade. I would also go to a lot of conferences because that's where you meet people in face. And everyone's thinking that this remote work is going to be the wave of the future, but I think that people are going to get burnt out on this if they haven't already in the workplace.
Yeah, for sure.
And in the future, they're going to want to have that human interaction, because there's nothing that's going to be able to replace like the connection you have with someone when you see them face to face, and
Yeah,
not over,
100%.
and like
Yeah.
there's certain things you can pick up from people when you meet them in person that you wouldn't be able to pick up over a webcam.
Yeah. And even like I noticed like the pauses, like people, I'll ask a question and it takes sometimes like a 0.5 seconds or a second for the person to realize that I'm done asking the question. And even something like that really changes the whole flow of the conversation and whatnot. So just to
Yeah.
attest to what you're saying, for sure. You mentioned your office seems like a great spot, 30 people
Yeah.
in the office. Is it open? Is it kind of open, or is it cubicles, or is it like offices?
Yeah, great question. No, it's a wide open floor plan.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, we've got like there's no one has an office, and this is kind of representative of the tech culture. It's the offices are very open. There's no closed doors. I used to, when I worked in the accounting industry and the finance industry, there's closed doors. There's offices that don't have windows to the outside, hallway. We're not like that at all. In fact,
That's
like,
cool.
yeah, even like the managing directors, like the top dogs, like they don't have offices. Everyone's just kind of an equal, and the
That's really
workplace.
cool.
Yeah, so that's a big thing that I've seen change during my career from when I first started, working back in 2009. That I've seen happen before my eyes. It used to be more shut off where people would have cubicles. Now there's still a lot of organizations out there that have cubicles and offices and things like that don't have like an open floor plan. So
Yeah.
I wouldn't say that's gone completely away.
Where do you have meetings if you had to have one? Is there a conference room or?
Yeah. So we have like a reservation system where you can just go into an online portal and book a room, and we have conference rooms in our office. So we just, yeah.
And then do you have like a kitchen or cafeteria or something like that as well?
Yeah, we've got we have a really nice kitchen area that has like a refrigerator. We have like a badass toaster oven. We even have like we even have a panini grill, so you can just like go to Trader Joe's, get some food, keep it in the fridge, and make yourself a badass panini for lunch.
Nice.
That is nice. We also have a keg, and we have,
no way. That's awesome.
We have a full liquor cabinet and a little wine fridge.
That's what's up.
Yeah, so you close a big deal during the day, and I like to make myself a nice little like whiskey highball or something after I close the deal. So
sure, yeah.
Work hard, play hard.
Yeah, exactly. I did recruiting in Providence for a little bit, and similar to that kind of culture, we had bottles and whatnot in the office, and when we close a deal, we'd celebrate and have a little drink, or every Friday we actually got off at 3 and went to this cigar bar down the street for a couple hours. It was pretty fun.
There you go.
Yeah. What's the least favorite part about your gig, if you have one?
That's tough.
Or you could do like one of those loops where you're like, it's not really a negative thing. You're like, well, I just get so many deals that it's just I need to keep getting more.
Sales is a grind, so it's ups and downs, and you have to be able to deal with the highs and the lows. And you have to realize that it's a numbers game, and you can't spend too much time focusing on one. And I still struggle with this, focusing on one deal. You've got to be able to move on to the next one and realize that not everyone's going to buy PitchBook. Not everyone's going to buy your service or product. People just say no. People are, you'll send out 50 emails in a day, and then you'll get no response. And then on the 51st email, you'll get a response, So it's just knowing that's the nature of the beast, so to speak.
Just got to keep shooting, I guess.
Exactly. You gotta keep shooting your shot. So
Yeah.
and it's just knowing that. And it can be frustrating, and there's ebbs and flows, and you'll be like super hot where you'll close a deal a week for like a month, and then you'll go like 2 months without closing a deal, and you'll be like questioning everything that you're doing, you know. So it's just, you know, knowing that that's just the name of the game.
Yeah, that's pretty heavy. That's a good point.
Yeah.
Do you have any influences, people that you look up to? It doesn't have to be within, you know, sales or anything like that. Just anyone in general, or you know, people, or maybe like, you know, books or something or whatever that kind of keep you motivated or keep you inspired when you might be feeling low during those lows.
It's a good question. And off the top of my head, I can't think of like anything specifically.
Yeah,
I mean, they're like, I definitely look to a lot of business leaders for inspiration.
yeah,
Whether that be like people like Mark Andreessen, the head of Andreessen Horowitz, which is a large venture capital firm,
okay,
or whether that be you know, someone like Elon Musk,
yeah,
you know, an entrepreneur like that, or even a Brad Garlinghouse, the CEO of Ripple. He's a guy who I met with, actually went to my alma mater, just kind of
oh,
mentored
cool,
me a little bit. So looking at like, you know, just people from my, you know, looking at like, I always respect entrepreneurs. So
for sure,
a Mark Cuban, you know,
yeah.
even a Mark Zuckerberg, even though I hate Facebook, but you know, folks like that, you know, and then like a Steven Schwartzman, the founding partner of Blackstone, which is a private equity shop. So like those are some of the guys I respect. In terms of books, like, you know, I read a lot of news. I try to read some non-news stuff every once in a while, but
Yeah.
the one that I'm reading recently that's been like a kind of inspirational book is God, what's it called? The code, the evaluation, the protocols, striving to become an eminently qualified human being, by
Is that
Joko
Jocko
Willink.
Willink?
Yeah, Joko Willink. Yeah,
Nice. I got it
yeah.
right here.
Oh, do you really?
Yeah.
Wow.
That's awesome.
That's
Yeah.
that was a book that was recommended to me by our CEO at PitchBook,
Oh, no
um,
way.
John Gabbert. So that's awesome, man. It's a great book. Yeah, it's kind of I haven't read it all the way through. I just kind of have been thumbing through it.
Yeah,
So
it's a pretty simple one. Have you?
it'll also make you feel like a piece of shit.
Yeah,
I
yeah. But, you know,
don't know.
have,
It's like a self-help book, right?
yeah.
So
Have you listened to his book Discipline Equals Freedom?
I have not. I've been told I need to check that out though.
Yeah, it's free. It's on Spotify if you have Spotify or Apple Music or whatever.
Yeah, I'll have
Um,
to check it out.
it's a cool one for sure. I used to I
Mhm.
listened to it when I was working out last year when I first heard it for the first time, and it was like super motivating. Um, but okay, cool. So those are some good things. And let's say if I was you know, I listened to this podcast. What you're telling me sounds interesting. Sounds like something,
Yeah.
you know, I might want to get involved with. Is there any books or even journals, magazines, podcasts that kind of touch upon? It might not, but kind of touch upon any type of source where I could learn more about your industry or
Yeah.
you know, whatever.
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple of daily newsletters that I read that that focus on our industry specifically. One of them is Dan Primack, Axios Pro Rata, and so he basically reports on private equity deals, venture capital deals, and then he has something every day that he calls the BFD, or the big fucking deal, and so it's basically a public market transaction. But yeah, Axios, AXIOS, Pro Rata. That's a great resource to read every day. I read that newsletter every day.
Cool.
That's interesting. And then also in that same vein, there is a newsletter called Term Sheets, or Term Sheet, I should say, which is put out by Fortune. And that is also another newsletter that talks about private market deals and things that are happening in business.
Okay.
Those are two great resources, Term Sheet and Axios.
Cool. Do you have to subscribe to those, or are they kind of?
Yeah, they're free though.
Oh, they're free.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you just get a daily newsletter update. Also, I would recommend subscribe to our newsletter, PitchBook. Go to pitchbook.com, sign up for our newsletter. There's a lot of great deals that happen in that too, and it can just be takes about 3 minutes. Each one of those takes about 3 minutes a day to read, so it's pretty quick.
Oh yeah, it's super quick. Yeah.
Yeah.
So subscribe to PitchBook. I'll leave links for that in the show description for anyone curious. And then just a few more questions. What is the what are the next steps for you? What are you striving for in this position? Are you striving for a manager role, or what is it that you're kind of dangling in front of you?
That's a good question. Right now, I've been at PitchBook for a little over a year. And it was a complete career change from being in public accounting and finance and moving into a business development sales role. So I've learned a tremendous amount about the craft of selling and the art of the sale, so to speak, and negotiation skills and things like that. So my goal is to just continue to develop those skills and also my personal network. I love networking, meeting new people, and always down to have conversations with folks about career choices and things like that. But right now, I have a few side projects that I'm working on that are more like a consulting business and things like that, and just a couple of other projects on the side, but not that I can really elaborate on too much. But I don't really have a predetermined goal, so to speak. I have like a long 10-year goal. A 10-year goal for me would be either starting my own company, whether that be in the consulting space, the software space, or something like that. That's something that I have that's not fully hashed out yet.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's why work for someone else your whole life? That's the whole goal, right? Everyone's just trying to work for themselves, be their own boss, I guess.
Right.
If you could tell yourself, fresh out of college, you just got your first job, if you could tell yourself anything, what would it be?
I would say get out of public accounting faster and get into something more entrepreneurial. Because public accounting is great. It's very safe, pays very well. But for me, it wasn't who I was. And I, was kind of forced into that career path because of the recession. And I wish I would have taken a chance. I grew up in Kansas, and then I was living in Kansas City. And then I moved to California about 4 years after I graduated from college.
Did you get a job out there before you moved, or did you just move?
Yeah, I had a job before I moved out there. And going back, I have family in California. I wish I would have just moved out with my family out there and lived with them and found a job. I could have probably found a better job than the one I found when I was living in Kansas City. So I would have told myself take a bigger risk right after college.
Yeah, for sure.
Maybe even travel the world for a year. Something like that.
While you have no commitments.
Exactly. Yeah. You're only going to be 22 years old once. It's you can't go back in time. So.
I know that's good. That's good advice, and I'm taking that to heart too, Willie. So that was good.
There you go, Josh.
Yeah. Well, I have no commitments right now, but traveling is kind of weird.
Yeah. It's definitely with COVID, nothing's happening. So.
I know. I wanted to do some traveling, but whatever. COVID, so it is what it is.
Yep.
There's a good book that my buddy told me about that he used to work for a startup. They wanted him to read it, and this guy's on this really good learning website. It provides master classes. It's called Split the Difference by Christopher Voss. He was a hostage negotiator. I don't know if you've read that one yet, but it could be you might be interested in that one.
Yeah, I have heard of that. I know Christopher Ross is, but I haven't read his book. But yeah, no, and actually, there's one other book that I just have been reading that talks about it's written by God, I can't remember the name of it.
Yeah, it's all right. I can
yeah,
just leave a
it's
link
great
in the
book that I'm
description.
reading. Yeah, I'm reading it right now, but it's it's basically talking about disruptors, and just this that like changing, following the common path doesn't change anything, and like the disruptors are the ones who shape the world.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I'll get you the link for that because I'm reading it right now. I can't remember the name of it.
Yeah, it's all good.
It basically talks about the guys who started Warby Parker, and then talks about the Seinfeld, the TV show,
Okay.
and how that was like when that came out, it was like a completely groundbreaking thing that no one had done.
Yeah.
That type of stuff before.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, interesting. Anyways.
Yeah. Well, hey, that's all I have for you for today. So I really just want to say thanks for coming on. I really appreciate it. And you definitely gave the listeners some good stuff to walk away with. So I really appreciate your time.
Yeah. Thanks, Josh. Happy to connect on LinkedIn. William Webster. Just William Webster PitchBook Data. Find me on LinkedIn. Always happy to provide insights or advice to anyone who's interested in public accounting, finance, sales, technology, venture capital, startups.
Cool. Yeah. So if the viewers, if you want to link up with, Willy, definitely be a good resource for sure.
For sure, man. Well, thanks for having me. It was great to talk with you, buddy.
Yeah, for sure. All right.
All right.